So for the ceremony section of the form, it's pretty straightforward. The first box you have here is guest arrival time, which is always 30 minutes before the ceremony starts. So if the ceremony starts at 5 o'clock, then the guest arrival time is 4:30. Where is the ceremony being held? Just mark down as accurately as you can where the ceremony is going to be held. Usually it's outdoors or in a separate room. Occasionally it's in the reception room, so just mark that down and be as specific as you can. Officiant's name, really straightforward. Try to get their first and last name and title. If they're like a minister of some sort, you might want to know that they go by Reverend James Smith. Or if they're a judge, just try to get their title in there. What ceremony service will Cool Cat be providing? Full ceremony service is by far the most common. That's when you're playing songs and providing microphones and speakers. Sound equipment only would be if for some reason they needed us to mic up the officiant and maybe provide a speaker for a violinist or a pianist or something, but you're not actually providing these songs being played. And then Cool Cat will not be providing any ceremony services. If they haven't booked us for ceremony, then you could just select that and move on from this section. So for this, we're going to say full ceremony service. Guest arrival music type, really straightforward. Groom processional, obviously this is optional. It's not extremely common, but if the groom did want a processional song, you'd mark it down here. Wedding party processional song, again, just mark that down. You might want to indicate a specific cue point to start the song at. Most of the time, though, this entire song is going to play because you have a lot of people who need to walk down the aisle, and you're going to want the entire duration of the song. So in this case, let's say it's Canon in D by Pachelbel. And for these sorts of things, you always want to mark down the artist because there's lots of different versions. Processional song, mark the time you want the song to begin. So this is really important for this one specifically because the bride is only going to be walking down the aisle for maybe 20 seconds. So just picking a song isn't enough because you need to find out which section of the song the bride most wants to hear for that critical moment. So I'm going to show you an example from a wedding I had a couple weekends ago, and we just queued it up in the planning meeting to a section that she liked. So rather than starting it over here, kind of slow, she wanted to start it right here. So when she was walking down the aisle, she was walking down to her favorite section of the song. So that's really important. So in this example, it would be In Christ Alone. And that was actually a piano instrumental. So I also like to mark that down. And for these custom songs, which you'll get a lot for ceremony, I usually have them find the exact version that they heard on YouTube because that's usually where they find it. And I just put the YouTube link in because you never know with different covers, different versions of songs. You don't want to accidentally play a different version than they heard. So mark down as much info as you can. Start time, the exact version of the song, get a YouTube link if you can. You want to be really thorough about that because this is a really important moment especially. You don't want to mess it up. If there are readings, who will be doing them? So obviously it notes here that you're going to need a microphone and stand if there are readings, but just try to get their names. So, John and Jessica. Unity ceremony song, if they happen to be doing one, usually they don't though. And then officiant's last word, ends with kiss, ends with introducing couple's name. A lot of times they don't know, and then I'll just put down not sure. Recessional song, just mark this down. Maybe they go with I feel good. And this is also a section where you might want to mark the exact starting cue point. Usually people aren't as picky with it though as they are with this section here. So other than that, you can add additional notes if need be, but this section of the planning form is pretty straightforward, and you shouldn't have much trouble planning this with clients.